really was to
that I felt like I needed, and I was comfortable in that space of just me and God.
It is offensive. Hope is desperate.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Jumpstart Your Vision with Coach Karen Hilton. I am Coach Karen Hilton. Come on in here. It's Monday morning, and I want you to know something. We have a show for you today you are not going to want to miss. Good morning. You know, Mondays are my favorite days of the week, and I'm here for it, and I want you to be here for it too. We create this space in the Rock Your Vision community for vision-driven entrepreneurs, workplace leaders, and what I call the mission-minded. Here's what I know. There are so many of you out there who have something that God has planted in your heart, and it's bigger than you. I mean, I don't know about you, but my vision has always been bigger than me, and I know it's the same for you. But maybe you need a little inspiration and encouragement. You need to be equipped with some tools, resources, community networks, whatever that is. We create this space to be able to do that. And you know what? We do it from a lens of faith. Why? Because that's just my story. If you know anything about me, you know I am a PK, I'm a pastor's kid. And while I didn't know it at the time, my faith was a foundation for everything that I did. So we enjoy a diverse community. We've got a little bit of everybody up in here, and that's just the way I like it. We protect that space. And so we want you to join us in this space for a conversation. If you are joining us live, do me a favor, click on that video, get up in here, get your coffee, alert your friends, and share this. I have an incredible guest for you today. She is an absolute powerhouse. She's one of the most respected practitioners in her field in the country. And she happens to me one of my sisters and one of my friends. I'm going to introduce her in a minute, but for right now, I want you to come on in here and join us for the conversation. This is the place to ask questions, to share your perspective, and to get involved in the conversation. What a great way to start your week. I want you to know something. You've got options. I'm here to remind you. I'm going to jump into the chat and see what we've got going on. Okay, let's see. Hold on just one second. Y'all let me know that you are in here if you are watching. Today we're talking about a really powerful topic, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is going to be the topic that is it's gonna rock you a little bit. We're talking about how to build your vision when the wilderness is coming for you. How to build your vision when the wilderness is coming for you. Maybe you're that vision caster out there. You're that vision master out there, and everything is going all right. You've never experienced anything that rocked you or made you feel like you were overwhelmed. I don't know. That's not my journey. I'm not sure we can be friends, but I want you to know something. You can build a vision even in the midst of the wilderness. I came across this kind of idea of the wilderness over the pandemic. And of course, now everybody is talking about it. I'm not saying I started it, but I think what people discovered coming out of the pandemic was that there were some commonalities to what people feel when they're literally lost in the wilderness. I recently took a course through an incredible organization here in the Metro Atlanta area called Women in the Wild. Now, I know you don't believe it with these lashes and this lipstick going on, but your girl was out in the middle of the woods, spider-infested woods, actually, and I did it for a reason. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, y'all come up in here. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. In fact, let's go ahead and get into that. We have John Kovalevsky in here. Hey, John. John is our executive technical producer. He travels the country and the world making magic happen. He's in the chat this morning, and we are super excited about that because your girl is working all the magic in the background, and I can't promise you anything. Anyway, we have this morning an incredible guest. She has made it her business to be here this morning. And y'all, it's no small feat that she's here. She is super busy. And when you hear her bio, you're going to be like, why is she here? She's here because she loves what we're doing. And when you hear what it is that she does and how she does it, I think you'll get it. I want to introduce you to none other than Amy Stewart, founder of Stewart Legal Group, PLLC. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
It's
How
good
are
to
you,
see
beautiful?
you. I'm
Good to see
good.
you.
I'm good. It is so incredible to have you here this morning. I'm so ready for this.
Oh, I need this. This is some Monday morning therapy right here. I need this.
Yes. Well, I am going to read a little bit of your bio and I'm gonna read it because I know you're not going to do it justice, and I'm your hype girl. So
Okay, I appreciate
it. Okay, just hold on a minute. But y'all, if you are watching this, come on in here, jump into the chat, let me know you're here. You know how to do it. Give StreamYard access, like when you click on the video, give StreamYard access so we can feature your comments and know that you're in here. I want you to feel comfortable asking questions. This is kind of like a fireside chat, like a coffee chat, a couch chat. And we keep it real in here. Maybe there's no other space that you can ask questions, like real questions. This is a space for it. We created it just for you. Amy, you are founding partner of Stewart Law Group, PLLC. And I'm gonna share just some of the things. In 2022, okay, so this year, you were just selected as one of the top 3 attorneys in the state of Texas. Do y'all know how big Texas is? Do y'all know how much influence Texas has on the national and international stage? No big deal. Just one of the top 3 attorneys in the state of Texas. You have anything to say about that?
I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed. I have literally nothing to say about that. I'm just blessed.
Incredible. Prior to that, you had an incredible career as a decorated college athlete at Wake Forest University, and then you went on to coach Division I basketball at your alma mater, Tulane University. Is that right?
So my alma mater is at Wake Forest. So I've coached at Wake Forest, and then I left Wake Forest and went to Tulane because I wanted some party with my basketball.
Come on. I get it. That's incredible. I mean, like one of the things that we had in common was a little bit of a coinky dink. I want you to tell the story because you got the background to really set it up. Come on.
Yeah. So first thing, I'm a coach at heart. So there's that. So we connected over that. And then one of my idols growing up and then coaching was Pat Summitt. And you have a connection with Pat Summitt. And so then we just kind of bonded over that as well. So our lives kind of became intertwined, and we've just continued over the years. We met before the pandemic, but our lives just continue to cross. And I think a lot of it has to do that both of us want to help others reach their full potential. Yeah. And that's why I appreciate you and why I appreciate you letting me be on here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Amy. I really appreciate that. No small thing. Pat Summitt, only the winningest coach in basketball history, male or female. I don't know the details. All I know is she's my coach, most winningest coach in basketball history. And I love this idea of being a coach at heart. There's something to that. And Amy, what I love about you is, although you have this incredible career history, you sit and work with some of the most influential, important people in the world. At heart, you really want to talk to and touch that person who is just starting out, who's getting their wings, who's trying to make a difference and an impact in the world. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Yeah, it makes a big difference. A couple of other things. Amy, you're also an arbitrator with the AAA, and you preside over commercial, construction, and employment matters. And you were just inducted into the prestigious International Institute for Conflict Prevention and Resolution panel of distinguished neutrals. Now, y'all know I had to read that and just kind of keep track. That's a lot. but you were also the only minority and woman-owned law firm in Dallas focused on business litigation, labor and employment, product liability, and personal injury defense. Okay. Let's also talk about the fact that in 2020, you were the first ever Zoom summary trial in the country.
Yeah, we were trying to make our way through the pandemic, and justice doesn't need to stop. So the state of Texas really was guided the country in how to have Zoom presentations, Zoom hearings, Zoom trials. And I was just, again, I'm just a girl from High Point, North Carolina. And I just keep getting selected, and I was selected to do it. And you know how it is when he chooses us to do something, we just have to, we don't know how we're going to do it. We don't know what it is. We just got to keep moving forward. So that's really part of it, is just showing up.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to go back to that because I think that's really powerful. Other things, I'm not going to read everything because it's a really long list. We'd be here all day. But you have been honored with numerous industry awards, including the Best Lawyers in Dallas, 2022 DCEO Dallas 500 Most Powerful and Influential Leaders in Dallas-Fort Worth, 2021 Best Lawyers in America, 2021 Super Lawyers, 50 Top Women Lawyers in Texas. I could go on. It's an absolute honor to have you here, Amy.
I'm tired. I'm tired. Not just because it's 7 a.m. here in Dallas, but I'm just tired.
I'm sorry, not sorry. And you know, I am that girl. I will ask. I don't have a problem asking, because you know what? Our community is full of leaders of all kinds. And one of the reasons why I started Rock Your Vision almost a decade ago was because when I got started, I knew there was something inside of me. There was something compelling me to step out into a market that was already saturated. And I didn't have the support, the network, the family connections, the funding. I didn't have any of that. I had a seed inside of me, and that's all I knew. So I went out there afraid. I went out there kind of ill-equipped, and maybe some of my clients back then are like, Lord have mercy. But anyway, here I am almost a decade later, and I get an opportunity to inspire, encourage, and equip some of the most incredible leaders on the face of the planet. And I want to give a shout out to one of those that we have in common. You know her. Her name is Kimberly DeShield Spencer. She is our sister from another mister. We love her.
Absolutely.
And she's founder of Behind Her Brand magazine. We're going to have her back on the show. She's been on the show. But she's also somebody that has a real vision inside of her. So one of these days we'll have to get all of us together and have a chat.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds great.
Yes. So Amy, you started Stewart Law Group, and I want you to just kind of unpack a little bit to give our audience context. How did you get from playing basketball at Wake Forest to then coaching, you know, at one of the top universities in the country to growing one of the top law firms in the country? Talk to us about that journey.
Well, I think you said the theme today is about wilderness, right? And so I'm originally from North Carolina, and I used basketball to kind of get me out of a tough situation. And I ended up at Wake Forest University, had an amazing experience there. But then when I got to the end of college, and we talked about this, I had no idea what was next for me. Like all I knew was basketball was it for me. It got me out of High Point, got me to Winston-Salem, got to travel all around the country and the world, being a part of Wake Forest. And so I stuck with basketball until I could figure out what was next. And so I coached college basketball at Wake Forest, coached at Tulane University. And then I felt like I was at a fork in the road that I had to figure out this wasn't what I wanted to do. I loved it, but I needed something else. And so then I went and I started consulting for the NCAA. And that's how I met my husband, Ed, moved to Missouri. And then I got to another fork in the road, and I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm not supposed to continue to be a consultant. What am I supposed to be doing? And the way that God shows up for me a lot is through other people. And so I was just meeting with a doctor, and he said, why are you doing this? Because I was like, hey, I need another job, looking for another pharmaceutical rep job. And he said, you should be a doctor or lawyer. Well, I couldn't stand the sight of blood, so that narrowed it down. So I called Ed and I said, what do you think about me going to law school? Now, I'm a non-traditional law student, so I went to law school, I think when I was around 26, 27. And he said, I think you should do it, which goes to the second part of my story. I've got a supportive spouse and a partner in my life that kind of helps guide me and keeps me grounded. And so went to law school. And then it's like, it wasn't hard enough. Had our daughter, Ava, my first year. I can do tough things. And then we moved to Texas in 2006 for my husband's job. And as I, sight unseen, didn't expect to be in Texas. Love Texas, though. Love Dallas. Love my community that we've built. So I bounced around a bunch of firms, and like a lot of minority lawyers, like a lot of women lawyers, I never felt like I could be myself in the environment. And so at some point, again, another fork in the road, and something happened at my previous firm. And I knew I couldn't stay there. It didn't speak to me. It did not hold the values that I held. It wasn't authentic. I could not be me. And so 5 years ago is when we started Stewart Law Group. And, one of the things that I want to bring, and you already talked about it earlier, is I want to create an environment where anyone can be successful. It doesn't matter what your background is. I like very diverse environments, just like you. And so our experiment started September 2017, and this year we're celebrating 5 years. It's crazy through a pandemic. So
wow. You said so much there, and let's go to this idea that your firm is only 5 years old. Did I capture that? Okay. Yeah. Your firm is 5 years old, and already you are making it to the top in the country, everywhere. You get invited to exclusive discussions. You are innovating in your space. You have a waiting list. I mean, I could go on. Your firm is 5 years old. Let's also talk about the fact that you were a non-traditional student. I'm coming for some of y'all up in here. You were a non-traditional student. So you started one place. You were journeying through that. You had some wilderness experiences. We'll get to that in a minute. And then you had something inside of you that knew enough just to say to the people in your environment, the people that God sent you, your husband, a doctor, whatever that was, there's something next for me, but I don't know what that is. Okay. I just want somebody to hear that, to catch that, right? Because so many of our folks in here, I know every day I have an incredible opportunity to work with some of the most influential, innovative people in the country. And I hear them say, I'm going to tell you this, and it's going to blow your mind. I was talking to somebody who is a CEO of $1 billion company who said, well, I see all my colleagues doing this, but I guess that's just not for me. And he said, and I quote, I guess there's not room for the real me. Okay. Mm-hmm. I guess there's not room for the real me. And that's what I hear in your story. But Amy, you entered a really noisy market.
Yeah.
Okay. There's an attorney on every corner, it feels like. Yes. Now we know who you are. We know that you are the premier of the premier at Stewart Law Group. But what gave you like I can hear what the enemy might say to me doing something like that. Like, who do you think you are? Don't you remember what happened last time you got a good idea? Mm-hmm. What made you believe that you could make a difference and make an impact?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was good at what I did. I love being a lawyer. So the type of lawyer I am, I work with businesses when they have disputes. They can be internal disputes within the company. For example, there may be an issue with an employee. There may be an investigation that needs to occur. There may be someone does an anonymous tip and there's, maybe there's a safety issue, we come in and we help companies resolve those disputes. And so I like the environment of teaming up with companies to resolve these disputes as quickly as possible so that they can go back to work making money. Like, they hired me to deal with the mess, they go make money. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And so through my coaching, I have a knack for that. I have a knack for meeting people where they are. So, one of my clients said, and to this day, it's one of the things I love how he describes how I do my work. He says, Amy, you can meet with the CEO at their level and the person that puts the bags in the Frito-Lay in the Frito-Lay bags. You can meet the CEO, you can put the person who puts the chips in the bag. You can deal with them. You can work with them. You can motivate them. You can get them to be a good witness. And so I knew I could do that. I knew I was successful. The other thing is I was looking around these firms and watching very mediocre people get paid a lot of money.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, if they would just give me an opportunity, I can do this. But I wasn't getting the opportunity. Yeah. And so literally, I had no other choice but to create my own environment.
Okay. I hope y'all caught this. And before I go any further, I want to welcome all of you that are just jumping in here. Do me a favor, share this. We want to get vision trending because you can focus on all the things. You can focus on doing more and hustling more. And we're in that season right now in Rock Your Vision. But let me tell you something. If you do not have a foundation of faith, if you do not have a foundation that says, you know what, there is more than hustling more, you're going to miss it. So share this with 75 of your friends. And we want to get people connected with Amy. If you are paying attention, if you look across the bottom of the banner there, you can find Amy on her website and her firm, all of her team, all of the great things that she has going on. We want you to get connected with the work that Amy is doing. Amy, you said you looked around the market, you scanned the market, and you saw people who were just average, right? They were just they were going through the motions, but they were getting the opportunities and the business and doing all like that. Was that a motivator for you, or did you ever feel like you needed to play small?
Oh, I absolutely played small. Absolutely played small. I mean, my environment, less than 5% of attorneys are minorities. And so less than that are minority women. And I practice on the commercial business side, which is even less people who look like me. So the environment told me I didn't belong if I just looked at it superficially.
Yeah.
But I do have to say there were people in that environment and white men who embraced me. I wouldn't have a firm and be successful without Mike Bassett, who has his own law firm here in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And anytime I have an issue, because I don't have anybody to go to about my firm, he is right there for me the entire time. So, the environment looked as if I didn't belong in it. But as soon as I kind of leaned in and worked really hard and started having a presence, it embraced me, and clients have embraced me. And we've been just totally unbelievably successful in the 5 years we've been in the market.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I love what you said about, you didn't have a whole, battalion of people patting you on the back and cheering you on, but you had one. Maybe there were others, but you knew you had one. And sometimes I think for those of us that are trying to build a vision. So for those of you that don't know, our campaign right now is, yes, you can build a vision you love. And I came to that because 10 years ago when I started, when I tell you the wilderness came for me, many of you know that I started a practice coming out of being a full-time caregiver. I'd left an incredible global corporate role. I had title, I had influence, I had built up this amazing network. I was doing complex work, which I love to do in human resources, so investigations and all of those things. And when mom became sick, I had to make some hard choices. Best job I could have ever had being a caregiver. But when I went back into the market, I like talk about a wilderness. I mean, it just looked like a whole wall of lions, tigers, and bears. Then I had the nerve to step into the space, and the lions, tigers, and bears let me know they were there, right? All of the things like people, mindsets, financial limitations, competing with the big boys, having to make my way. Amy, this is all bread and butter for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you kept going. Today we're talking about how to build your vision when the wilderness is coming for you. Sickness for some of our leaders. I was talking with an amazing leader the other day who is trying to make her way, and she's got an amazing product. But there are all sorts of things coming at her saying, no, you can't really do that because somebody's kind of set in that same space, but she's already making a huge impact. And so it can be very discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
The wilderness looks different for everybody. Amy, can you talk to us maybe about a significant wilderness experience for you when you were trying to build a vision you love? How, like without giving the deets or anything confidential, talk to us a little bit about what that was like for you and how you navigated your way out of it.
Yeah, I think starting the firm, because, where I came from, if somebody had a lawyer, they was in a bad situation. Let's just put it that way. So I had no experience being with lawyers. I had no experience building a company. Had no experience. How do you start a law firm? And I think a lot of people get in that space where they want to do something, but they just don't know how to do it. And so it was a lot of work ethic and having to just figure it out and being vulnerable and asking people for help. Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend, and really trying to figure it out. And so that was a wilderness just to figure out how do you start a law firm? How do you set it up financially? How do you get business account? I mean, like basic stuff.
Yeah.
How do you get insurance?
How
do you start a 401k? All of these questions. And so, I've kind of gotten through that part of the wilderness, but one of the prayers that really guided me through this entire process of before I starting the firm, someone had given me a book about Jabaz's prayer. And help me enlarge my territory, be with me through this time and trouble, keep me from evil. And I had a Bible study someone had given me, and I tell you right now, the success of my firm is connected to that prayer.
Come on.
And right now, I'm back in a new wilderness because we have been overly blessed with, my husband now is a senior athletic director at the University of Southern California. My daughter's 17. She just got a scholarship at the University of Miami. I'm in Dallas. I need everyone to visualize that we have the country covered at this point.
Right.
And now I have a calling that I'm supposed to start a law firm in California.
Wow.
In a brand new state that I don't even live in yet.
Yeah.
While maintaining the Dallas SLG office.
Yeah.
And I will speak this right now. I feel like there's a vision for an SLG to be in Charlotte and to be in Oklahoma City. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, I'm there now. So I'm back to where I started. Well, how do I start a law firm in LA? How do I do that? A whole nother state, different laws, everything. But that's on me. I feel like that's the next. I'm in the wilderness, girl. I'm back in the wilderness.
Okay. I hope y'all are getting this. This is so, y'all, I'm telling you, this right here is why we exist. Because when Amy started, she didn't have a Rock Your Vision. She didn't have a Karen. And Amy's got me on speed dial. I didn't have that when I started. The reality is that there are so many vision-driven leaders, like in their own silos, in their own offices, in their own home offices, like gritting their teeth and fighting back tears. But this idea that, yes, your vision is bigger than you, and yes, you can do it. You work for some of the biggest names in the business. I work for some of the biggest names in the business. And something occurred to me. Something occurred to me as I was sitting there going, I don't know. I can't do it. I don't know where to start.
No idea.
It was ugly. It
Yeah.
was ugly. It was not this. It was like full on ugly.
Hot mess.
But something occurred to me. And it was like the Holy Spirit touched me on the shoulder and went like, hey, so-and-so did it. So-and-so did it. Yes, you don't know. Go ask somebody. Wipe your tears. Go ask. You have more options than you realize. And literally tears streaming down my face. That became our tagline, right? The way that I say it is, if you face a wall, you can go through it, over it, under it, or around it, or you can find somebody whose shoulders you can step on. There is always a way, because 175 people did it before you and I did.
Yeah. Right?
This idea that your vision is bigger than you. And what I love about what you said, Amy, is you have gone back to where you started. I'm going to tell you a story about that, and I want you to speak into this. I grew up, it's not hard to figure out where I grew up, but I grew up someplace where at the time, I wanted to get out of there as quick as I could.
Yes, me too.
Like there was so much darkness there. Like I would have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
I had to go back. Life happened. I had to go back. I hated it then. I left it again. And that second time, I literally got down on the ground and I kissed it goodbye. And I said, I will never step foot in this place again. Fast forward 25 years or so, my husband and I decided to pursue adoption. Where was my son born? Where was my son born? Wait for it. It gets better. Less than 1% of adoptions are contested by the birth father. We're breaking ground in a very dark place, having to go back to the place that I cursed. Let me talk to y'all about cursing what you've come from. No. Because today, my son is 13 years young, 6'1", and a tall drink of water with a call on his life. I had to reframe my perspective of what I came from. And let me tell you something. If God placed a vision in you, he will give you everything, every resource. He will open doors for you. And I'm prophesying to you, Amy Stewart. He will open doors for you. All y'all up in here who are watching this and you feel like your vision is bigger than you feel like the wilderness is coming for you. I was saying at the top of the show that a couple of weeks ago, I took a class called Women in the Wild by an incredible organization called SARcraft. They are search and rescue experts here in Georgia. And the founder, I'm going to have him on one day. He and his wife started this thing. He's a search and rescue expert. He goes out into the middle of nowhere and volunteers for it. But he said one day he was sitting at a fire out in the middle of nowhere, and he thought to himself, if people could learn how to save themselves, not so many people would pass away in these incredible circumstances when they're in the wilderness. He started a business on this. Come on. So I'm like, okay, I'm teaching people about the wilderness. We're getting ready to launch our workshop on mastering the wilderness for leaders. And I said, I'm teaching people about this, but I'm really not a fan of being out in the wilderness. So your girl went out there, okay, all day. I bought a really big knife and I learned some things. I started a fire. I carried a backpack and all that. I hiked spider-infested spider infested. If y'all know me and spiders, anti-who. When I came up out of there, I felt like a wilderness expert. I wasn't, and I'm not. But there was something about challenging myself in that. Walking through the wilderness experience. Now, Amy, you walked through a wilderness experience and you feel like you're going back into it because it's unknown territory. What is your mindset about, like you did that? You could retire and just be good.
I know.
Right? Come on. You could just be good. Why would you take your vision and dare to expand it? Why would you do that?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna be true. It's just been, I mean, because that's a whole lot of work to, continue to grow the Dallas office, which has been amazing. And I have an amazing team. I'm okay with telling you right now, Karen, I don't know why I'm doing it. I just know that I'm being drawn to do it. And I keep asking over and over again, are you sure? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And then something will happen in my life that says, it'll just be a little nudge. Like, it wasn't just a blurb or just a thought. Like, this is a vision. Like, you need to just continue to move forward. So the true, honest answer is I have no idea why I'm trying to do this, but I feel like, just like starting Stewart Law Group, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that whole idea of being compelled, right? In our community, we identify that as the prompting of the Holy Spirit. It is bigger than you because it doesn't make sense.
That makes no sense. None.
It makes no sense. And yet you can't shake it.
Right.
Right. I don't know about you, but for a long time, people kept telling me, Karen, you're onto something. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm doing my thing. I had people calling me, requesting time with me, who had been to one of our events or had taken one of our courses, and like, not perfect strangers at the time, but I didn't know them well. And one woman in particular who was now like she's one of my founders, and she called me and she was like, I know we don't really know each other, but you're out of order. I'm sorry, excuse me. She was like, you're on to something. And I thanked her for her time. I went about my business. I'm bless her heart. And you know what? Something inside of me. And what we have today in Rock Your Vision is a direct result of that seed that she planted. Now, look, don't y'all go on out and start prophesying over people and you don't have any prompting from the Holy Spirit to do that. That's not what I'm talking about. But what she spoke into me aligned with what God was doing in me, because I couldn't shake it. It was big. It's still bigger than me. I wake up, and any of my team will tell you this. And some days I'm like thumb in mouth, like, how am I going to do this? But what I know is that if God calls you, he will equip you. Will he not, Amy?
That's totally true. Totally true.
He will equip you. Talk to me. I want to give a shout out to Ed, to Brother Ed. You know, I've had the privilege of meeting him. He carries a presence just like you do. When he walked into that restaurant, I was like, oh, okay, yes.
Love me some Eddie T.
Yes. Tell me about the importance of leaning on your tribe, right? I'm not talking about the people who show up because you won an award and, you know, and they now want to be affiliated with you. I'm talking about the ride or dies, the people that were there with you when nobody knew your name. Talk about the importance of that tight-knit tribe.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you know, my background is sports. So I always give this analogy to young attorneys who say, oh, I want to start my own firm. And how do I do that? And I say, you need to become an amazing lawyer, and you need to maintain your network of people. And you need to know people and be engaging and be authentic with people before they have whatever made it is, before they've made it. If you watch athletes, sometimes you'll see that their tribe are the people that were with them when they had nothing, when they did not have an NFL, NBA contract, before they were recruited to play football at USC or Texas or wherever, when they were just who they were, and those people understood them. And so I have that same similar tribe of folks that have been with me since before I started the law firm. And the most amazing thing about that is that we get to celebrate the success of the firm together. And they're in part of it, and they're intertwined in the success of the firm. And in regard to Ed, I mean, anyone that has been successful has had, I would hope, has had at least one person in their life that when things go completely awry or bad, like you can, that's that soft place for you to land.
Yeah.
And Ed has been my champion. He has been that person. I mean, when I needed to leave the firm that I was at, and I knew I did not want to go to another law firm because it would be the same situation, he was the one that said, "You need to start your own law firm."
Wow.
I didn't even have that confidence in me to do that. And it was really him kind of speaking to me and saying, "You can do this," which is why it kind of jump-started all the success.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I heard Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church preach recently, and he said so many times, people share their vision when it's in infancy stage. But the best time to kill a vision, y'all come in here, the best time to kill a vision is when it's in infancy stage. So you're out here telling everybody about your baby, and he's not even dressed yet. That thing isn't even dressed yet. Stop telling people your business because you're lonely or hurt or broken or out of resources. You need to be strategically aligned with the people that God sends you. And just because everybody's good doesn't mean they sent from God.
Totally true. Totally true. And I mean, you cannot let others guide your vision. They can support your vision. They can jumpstart it like Ed, but at some point you've got to believe in yourself and believe that this is your calling.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So go back to this idea, everybody, of, and we have a private coaching group. By the way, if you are not a member of that private coaching group, it is free, but we give exclusive content in that group. We are, 200 plus strong and growing. I just let a bunch of people in yesterday, but this community is for vision-driven entrepreneurs, workplace leaders, and the mission-minded who are serious. Now, I just said yesterday that, you want to be resourced, and you want to be connected, and you want those options. You want all of those things. But the reality is there is some hard work that you have to do yourself. I wish I could tell you. And people say this all the time, "Oh, Karen, how did you start? And I want to be just like you." And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because being a vision-driven leader is not for the faint of heart. The reality is that your vision is not about you. It's bigger than you. And you are a steward of that. This is what Amy is talking about. You are a steward of that vision, but you have to realize that it's bigger than you. I want to go back to something that you said about Ed, and then we'll move on. But I don't know about you, but sometimes the vision-driven life is not always about, the enemy on the outside of you. Pastor Andy preached about this yesterday. It's not about the enemy on the outside of you. Sometimes it's the enemy on the inside of you. Right. Sometimes that wilderness is up in here or in here. And particularly if you have people around you that God has sent you, doesn't mean that it's always going to be unicorns and rainbows. It also does not mean that they're always going to understand everything. I've talked about this before, but my husband is a financial whiz. I am not. There are things I'm good at, but I can make money all day long. I will make you money. But keeping it and growing it, that's really his thing. So we've gotten into these things, and early on in the business, I'd be like, I just don't want you telling me like, this is my vision. God gave it to me. Da, 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 da. But I found myself repeating the same things the same way. And the Holy Spirit got up in my stuff and said, I've called you to not just build it, not just maintain it, but to grow it. And you're in your own way. Amy, when you're in the wilderness and you've got somebody around you that has a skill that can actually navigate you through the wilderness, talk to our leaders about getting out of their own way.
Ooh, okay. So one thing people would not, so we have, one of the things that we did with the marketing of our firm is that we just broke the mold in regard to using social media, not in a, like, if you're driving through Atlanta and you'll look up at the billboards and it's these plaintiff's attorneys that, you know, car wreck, 1-800-CARWRECK.com or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we use social media to kind of have big discussions about things that are in the world and and show you who Stewart Law Group and my team is through things that we love, things that we post about, our awards, our wins for our clients, and things like that. So most of the time, law firms do not do that. Now, I will say in Dallas now, and I'm going to claim this, there are a lot of small and medium-sized law firms that are more active on social media, and I think it's because 5 years ago we kind of broke the mold on that.
Right.
But before 5 years ago, you would not find me on social media.
Wow.
I do not like self-promotion. It's very hard for me. And so you were talking about that wilderness inside. 3 weeks ago was when they had the award ceremony for the Texas lawyers, top lawyers in Texas. And I was terrified.
Wow.
I did not want to be there. I felt imposter syndrome like I don't think I've ever felt in my life.
Wow.
Now, I didn't select this. Somebody else selected. It's not like the normal imposter syndrome where you walk into the room and you don't know anyone and then you have to figure, like, they invited me to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm the opposite of an imposter, but I totally felt that way. And the next day we had our firm 5-year anniversary. And because I created the firm, all the attention was on me.
Wow.
And those were I can't think of the 2 hardest days that I've had in a row in a very long time. Just because I'm not a spotlight person.
Yeah.
I'm more of a behind the scenes person, but had to create this. But it was really important to me to create it in an authentic way. So what you see on social media is me. It's just going outside of myself is something that's different. Going back to Ed flew back in from LA because I think he knew that I needed him to be by my side.
Come on.
And be that support. Because Ed has no problem. As, like you said, he walked in, he has no problem being that guy. I'm not that gal. And he knew really all I needed was for him to be beside me.
Wow.
And then when we walked out of the anniversary dinner, we were holding hands and I said, I am so glad that was over. I'm so glad that's over. And it was just, I just needed him by my side.
This is a whole nother session. This is a whole nother session. Did y'all hear this? One of the winningest, most successful attorneys in the state of Texas 3 weeks ago is sharing her heart that she felt this overwhelming sense of overwhelm in that moment. Amy, the power of understanding that building a vision you love when you are in the wilderness is not only possible, y'all, listen to this, is not only possible, it's necessary, right? If you stay on the safe side of the wilderness, if you have a vision that God gave you, y'all hear me, please, hear my heart. If you stay on the safe side, somebody's going to miss it. Janice Anderson, Amy, you have to meet Janice Anderson. Okay. She was our first guest on the relaunch a couple of months ago. She has a PR marketing firm that specializes in working with faith-based leaders of all kinds. I mean, she's a freaking rock star. But she said something. She said, Karen, I was playing small, and then the Holy Spirit spoke to me saying, she said, I heard the Holy Spirit say, when you are not obeying, you're so busy worried on the outcome. When you're not busy obeying, you are cheating somebody. Right? So if we believe God has a bigger understanding of what's coming, there's somebody out there that needed Rock Your Vision. There was somebody out there, there was a leader out there that needed TAP executive coaching, whatever. There's somebody out there who needs Stewart Law Group, or the person on your team that is going to meet with that CEO or whatever. And when we do not obey what God has given us, he's like, I see the bigger picture and I'm sending you. We're cheating somebody.
Yeah.
So at least for me, I had to feel like, okay, wipe my tears. I have tears, but I'm gonna wipe my tears, and because there's something bigger than me happening.
Mm-hmm.
And
it gets tiring. Like
yes.
when it's something bigger than me. Like, I mean, I think all the time, like I could be very successful being a partner at a firm, like at another firm, but my calling is to help others, especially young minority lawyers, believe that they can practice law and help Fortune 100 companies resolve their disputes.
Yeah.
And so, the amount of time that I spend with young lawyers and older lawyers and lawyers that want to leave the profession, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But I mean, and every time I do it,
and
because I think that's my calling. I think that's one of the reasons God has me here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking with a leader the other day. This is somebody who's bought and sold businesses. She's a phenom, and you wouldn't know it by looking at her because it looks like she has it all together. But I bring leaders like you, Amy, and leaders like her to this community because I want to bust the myth that just because it's hard, it must not be God's vision.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, boo, if it's hard, you need to keep pressing on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about things being hard. And we're in a environment or the world tells you that if it's hard, then that's not supposed to be the direction that you're supposed to go. Kind of like bumper cars. You're supposed to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
But anything that you have in life that's worth anything.
Come on.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. The only thing that's not hard is the lottery. Like anything that you have in life that's worth having is hard. Childbirth is hard. Adopting a child is hard. Deciding who you love is hard. Deciding to break out and do something new is hard. And you got to get through that to get to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just because you bumping up against something that's hard doesn't mean it's not for you.
Yes.
It just means it's hard. Like one of the things, the first 5 years of being a lawyer is where minority lawyers say, it's not for me. It's not good. It's hard for everybody. It doesn't matter who you look like, what you look like. And I keep telling them, you need to press through this. This isn't about you. It's about the game. Just keep moving forward. It's supposed to be hard. Who said it was supposed to be easy?
Ooh. I hope I left my hanky somewhere, but
let me get off my soapbox. Hold on.
Look, no. I need you to stay right where you are because somebody needs this. I want to jump into the comments. We've got some incredible leaders here, but one of them, this is going to hit your heart, is one of my baby girls. Her name is Tiandra Grant. Now she's a grown woman, but she's a baby girl because she's under the age of 30, and that's the way that goes.
As a baby girl.
As a baby girl. Okay, so she says, and I just talked to her yesterday. I didn't have a chance to chat, but clearly she and I are going to have lunch. But she says, how do you overcome work hurt? I'm a teacher, and she's building a tutoring business. And she says, but when she told her coworkers, they were like, no, don't do it. You're too young. Or I get somebody overstepping boundaries because I am young. Now, Mama Karen is, I'm a pull out my hoops and show up. I'm not going to do that. But Amy, this thing that happens when it gets hard, sometimes that hard is when people that you think are in your corner run their mouth or say, oh, that you probably shouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I remember somebody saying to me when I was dating my husband, oh, I would never date somebody like that. Talk to Tiandra and people in this community when hard is a person. And you are hearing things. We talk in the wilderness about protecting, scanning your environment and making sure that what you have in your environment is actually what you need for the season you're in.
That's what I was going to say. First of all, look at your season that you're in. Second of all, the person who's giving that advice may be sincerely concerned about the decision that you're making. It may not be our immediate response sometimes when we hear people say, oh, you shouldn't do that, is that, oh, you hating on me, or you're maybe in their mind, they have sincere concern about you and what you're trying to endeavor. Maybe they are less risk averse than you. Maybe you don't know, but they tried something in the past that didn't work for them, and they're concerned about you going forward. I don't care why they said it. Who cares? You've got to do what is best for you and what God is calling you to do. We all know the stories of the naysayers. You just got to, again, some of that is noise, but I listen to all of that, and I feed off of that, and I listen to it. Cannot be one of these leaders that thinks I'm going to do this no matter what and take no feedback from anyone.
Come on.
And so that is just some feedback. What you should do is challenge the person in a nice way. Thank you for caring about me. What are your concerns? And maybe there are some concerns there that you didn't consider, because we also can get blinded by our vision.
Wow.
That there are, that we may stumble. There's a rock, there's a hole. And we're so, blinded by our vision that we can't see everything. So but there are other people who, no matter what you say, they're going to hate on you. And you know that in your gut. And maybe that season, that time, it's that you need to move on from it. But I'm a lawyer, so I have to take feedback from everywhere. I had to take it everywhere, and I've got to do an analysis of what I believe is a fact and what I don't believe.
Come on. That's so good.
Do not just put your blinders on, get blinded by the light, and not listen to people. You just don't have to absorb everything.
That's right. You said you don't have to absorb everything. I'm going to add to that. You also don't have to do everything.
Right.
You don't have to sign up for everything. One of the power plays to navigating the wilderness is exactly like Amy said. You have to be aware of the season that you're in. I need the leaders in this community to get out of the hustle bus thing. Okay? Hustle bus is not going to get you out of the wilderness quicker. It may put you deeper in the wilderness. Just staying busy for the sake of it. I had a chief of staff. I work for one of the largest hospital systems in Georgia for the CEO. And her chief of staff said something to me recently that just blew my mind. And he said, Karen, in this season, I'm no longer looking for significance. I mean, like literally, this guy is like as connected as they come. He said, I resigned from board seats and committees and things that have incredible, staying power in my profession. but I needed to get focused.
Yeah.
No.
I need to do that.
Come on, get focused.
Mm-hmm.
This is the core. It is the framework for both of my coaching practices. Get focused, connect to your purpose, and develop perspective. We're in perspective season right now, Amy. Perspective is the anchor that holds you when the winds of life and career blow.
Yeah.
We focus now in fourth quarter with our leaders on helping them build perspective. Those are roots, right? Like an anchor is tethered to the bottom of the ocean. Why? Because when hurricane season comes, when all of those things come, you need something that's going to ground you and help keep you focused. Tiandra, all of you out there that are hearing all of the noise and you're being, thrown here, and I need you to get focused, right? Because there is power in being hidden in the wilderness. Please hear my heart. There's power in it. We try to run from it. No. If something were to happen today, hello, post-pandemic, if something were to happen today, your girl's ready. Now, do I go and volunteer to be in the spider-infested woods of North Georgia? No. But guess what? My go bag is ready. And if I needed to, I could come get every one of y'all after I get my booze and make it to where we needed to go. I took that class called Women in the Wild, not because I wanted to be, live in the wilderness, but because I wanted to be equipped. That's good, Karen. I wanted to be equipped. Y'all, Amy, as we wrap up, I want you to do two things. So I'm going to ask you the first question first, and then I'm going to ask you the second question. The first question is, tell our community, anybody that may be watching on the live or the replay, what kind of work do you want to do more of in your firm? Explain a little bit about how our community can work with your firm.
Okay. So one thing that we've been really hired across the country to do is investigations. So inside of companies, issues may arise, and instead of having an HR representative investigate an employment issue or another executive investigate something, they have a third party come in and we do the investigation, and then we come with conclusions. And then sometimes we give them advice and counsel on how to resolve the issue if we find one, and how to plan so that it would never happen again, hopefully never happen again. And so we do a lot of that. And then we also help companies just with general issues related to employees, with employees coming back to work now, coming back into the office. We do trainings in regard to code of conduct and showing up at work, because some of us have forgotten how to behave in public. So we come in and kind of re-energize the training piece for a lot of companies. Wow.
That's incredible. For those of you that are corporate leaders, you're watching this, you now have another, superpower in your arsenal. Stewart Law Group, you can see across the banner, and we're going to put it in the comments as well. Check them out. Go to their website and go and follow them on social media. My obsession is creating a global community of vision-driven leaders. So you never have to worry about being out of resources. You're not out of resources. You got more options than you realize. I say it all the time. And we also have, Amy, FYI for you, we have a directory coming. And this is an exclusive directory for those in our community. So again, we don't have to wonder, hey, who's a good this or that? Who's the best attorney for employment litigation, et cetera, so on. So we're looking forward to featuring you in that as well. So that was my first question as we close. My second question is this. For those leaders who are in this community, who are trying to build a vision, and it's bigger than them, maybe they are also exhausted. Maybe they are feeling discouraged in this season when everybody's talking about hustle, 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 hustle. As we're coming into the close of the year, what would you say? What kind of encouragement or inspiration would you give those leaders?
So one thing that I tell everybody is we all are going to hit that exhaustion point, but you got to keep moving forward. Now, what does moving forward look like? Sometimes it is a belly slide, crawl on the floor. The next time it may be on all fours. The next time it may be on our knees. The next time we may be on our feet. The next time we may be sprinting. The key is you cannot go backward.
Yep.
You got to go forward. And whatever that means. And I talked about earlier about, the last being in the wilderness, about going to all these events. What God keeps telling me is keep moving forward. And I feel like in a parenthetical, it says, because I got you. Just keep moving forward because I got you. And that's all he's ever asked me to do, was to just not stop, just to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Wow. Y'all, I don't know about you, but I will be catching this on replay and capturing these nuggets. We created Rock Your Vision for vision-driven leaders to have a safe haven, to have a place to come to get refreshed. I say this to y'all all the time, and I know you get tired of me saying it, but I say it's not time to give up. It's time to get busy. You may need to rest. You may need to recalibrate. You may need to schedule one of the vision audits that's coming, where you have a dedicated time that is for you. You may need to do that. You may need to take a vacation, or maybe the wilderness is coming for you and it's real and you have caregiving responsibilities. Let me just say to you, if that's you, just because you experience a delay does not mean it's a denial. One of the things I believe with my whole heart is that God is not that guy who is going to give you a promise or speak something into your heart and not bring it to pass. It may not be in your time. It may not be your way, but let me be very clear. The Bible says he is not a man that he should lie. And what that means is he does not break his promises. He's a promise keeper. You may need to take a breath. You may need to take a break, and that's okay. But we'll be here to give you that inspiration, that encouragement, and that equipping that you need to do those things. If you go to Amy's website, which is listed in the banner there, and we'll pop it in the chat as well, you will find resources. Go to her website and find resources. Amy, do you also still work with small businesses?
Yes. I mean, we help small businesses get, all the legal foundation that they need and help them with any type of dispute that they may have. Okay,
wonderful. Y'all, I want to thank all of you for taking time to watch this in the live or on replay. Shireen Douglas, girl, I got you. Wasn't this a whole word? And let's see, Jessica Banner is in here. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Jessica is in Scotland right now. So you are officially international right here. Let's see who else. Tiandra, yes, ma'am. I'll be calling you soon. And I want some answers. I got some stuff for you. And of course, John Kovaleski, we appreciate you. So guys, on behalf of the entire Rock Your Vision community and Stewart Law Group, Amy Stewart, I want to thank you so much for taking time. I know like you got stuff. I want you to hold on just a moment. But for the rest of you, remember, you've got options. Don't forget to join the free coaching group. There are resources in there. This is the place for vision-driven leaders just like you. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the backside.